What is going on, everyone? It's Matthew. Welcome back to Gate to Wire TV. Thank you for stopping by. If this is your first time on the channel, we talk everything horse racing. So please drop a like and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. In this video, we are going to talk Preakness 2021. So let's dive in. So I spent some time the last couple days handicapping this race on paper, as well as handicapping it through a piece of software that I use. So what I'm going to do now is just walk through the race, look at each horse, kind of give my judgments on them, things that I see, things that I've seen in the replays when I rewatch them. I'm going to put some clips up of some interesting things that from those replays so we can kind of take a look at it. So we're going to start with the number one horse, Ram. Ram ran May 1st, Kentucky Derby Day, in an allowance race earlier in the day. He ended up winning 3 lengths, almost 4 lengths, and this was a one-turn mile. And what I found interesting was the track was playing pretty fast that day, and he ended up running down the speed horse that took the lead in the beginning, which was Cool Bobby, who set fractions of 22.3, 45.3, 110 flat. Cool Bobby turned back everybody other than Ram. Ram is a $375,000 horse. His sire is American Pharoah. He will be moving up in class in this race, and he will need a pace to run into. For this reason, I think, based on what I'm seeing right now, it should be a solid pace, but I don't see it becoming out of control. So for that reason, I am crossing out Ram. The number 2 horse, Keep Me in Mind, is coming out of the Kentucky Derby. He really didn't do much in the Derby. He has been beaten by Concert Tour, Essential Quality, and a lot of the good horses that were in that race. I could see him coming in potentially in the money, maybe 3rd or 4th, but I don't see this horse winning the Preakness. So for that reason, I will be crossing out Keep Me in Mind. Number 3, Medina Spirit, the morning line favorite at 9-5, just won the Derby, is the horse to beat. And what I think is interesting with this horse is, they mentioned that horses have not been able to pass him, which is true. What I also found interesting is going back and looking at the replays when he ran against Life is Good. I think if Life is Good had not gotten injured, he potentially would have been the Kentucky Derby favorite, if not the second choice. Looking back at the Grade 3 Sham at Santa Anita, Medina Spirit did close in on Life is Good. The jockey got busy on Life is Good about the last 100 yards and held Medina Spirit off by about 3/4 of a length. Life is Good ran a pretty amazing race. He really wasn't asked to run. Medina Spirit just happened to close that gap because the jockey was scrubbing on him, pushing on him. And I thought that was a pretty good race. Number 4, Crowded Trade, is coming out of the Wood Memorial, and I'm not sure exactly what to make of that race. The fractions were not particularly fast. I've seen faster fractions and $8,000 claimers at Mahoning Valley. I do think Crowded Trade is a wild card for a potential long shot win. He did close on a slow pace in the Wood Memorial, which I found sort of interesting, but it was very slow fractions. He did get nailed by Weyburn 2 races back, which I thought he ran a pretty good race there. So definitely a potential long shot if you're looking at playing something like that. Number 5, Midnight Bourbon, 5-1 on the morning line, is getting a new jockey with Irad Ortiz. He did get shuffled back in the Derby. I'll show that on screen here. And you'll notice that horses came in on him. He just kind of got shuffled back while everybody was, going out to the front. So like I said, new jockey. I think you can cross out his Derby race and look at it as just an exercise race. He really wasn't hard used by Mike Smith. So I think, he still should be fresh. He may have another race in him. And the only drawback is he does win on the lead. So I'm not sure how this pace is going to unfold. I can see Medina Spirit going. I can see him going. There's the potential for Concert Tour to go as well. So we could turn the tables on Medina Spirit here in this race. How much pace pressure is actually going to materialize in this race? The number 6 Rombauer, I'm not sure what to make of this horse. It doesn't look like he's really beaten any good horses. I think this is definitely a step up in class for him. And I don't see him winning this race. So that was a cross out for me here. Number 7, France Go de Aina, coming in from Meydan, Dubai. Typically, horses that are shipping from Dubai run okay, but they don't win big races like this. So for that reason, I will be crossing that horse out for the win. Number 8, Unbridled Honor. Just recently came out of the Lexington, caught a fast pace on a sloppy track, and closed into it. The fractions were set as 22-1, 45-4, and this was the race that King Fury had won. I don't really see, like I said, the pace pressure being that strenuous where I think a horse is going to make a big close, and I just see speed potentially sticking for a lot of the races. So for that reason, I crossed out Unbridled Honor. Number 9, Risk Taking, also coming out of the Wood Memorial, was up close for about 3/4 of the race, and then kind of backed up after it. Like I said, the pace wasn't very fast. You know, looking at the track variant, it was probably a little bit slower, but I expected a little bit faster fractions out of the Wood Memorial. Like I said, I'm not sure what to make out of that race. He's potentially going to be 5 to 10 lengths behind everybody in the Preakness. Like I said, the pace pressure, I don't see that materializing. I don't see him have any sort of, pace to run into. So for that reason, I crossed him out as well. And the last horse is number 10, Concert Tour, who is getting a new jockey with Mike Smith, coming out of the Arkansas Derby where he finished 3rd, where they sent Caddo River and Concert Tour sat off of him. And when they came into the stretch, they battled down the stretch. I think it took a little bit out of both horses because Super Stock ran by both of them. Caddo River ended up coming back on Concert Tour and grabbing 2nd. Now this is also another Bob Baffert horse. So Bob has Concert Tour as well as Medina Spirit. I mean, this is a chalky race. I'm gonna, it's Medina Spirit, it's Midnight Bourbon, Concert Tour with the potential for Crowded Trade to come in as a long shot. I'm gonna pop up a few screen captures that I took from the software that I use, and we'll kind of take a look at those and I'll explain what I'm seeing there. So this first screen capture, the prime factors for each horse, you see the top of the line, Medina Spirit, Concert Tour, Midnight Bourbon, fairly obvious. Factors there are morning line, PSR, rating. Looking at the percentages, Medina Spirit, Concert Tour, Midnight Bourbon, all taking the majority of percentages here. So this is just a look at what I think the public is going to bet. Now this next screen capture is the early pace object that I have. And you'll see here that Concert Tour, early speed points of 8, Midnight Spirit, speed points of 7, Midnight Bourbon, speed points of 5, and this is where the 4 pops up, Crowded Trade, being on the pace or close to the pace. You'll see the top 3 have the majority of percentage here. Next, we will look at the late object. Now in this object, which is interesting, is Medina Spirit is also top of the line on the late object with Midnight Bourbon, and then the 2 pops up, Keep Me in Mind. Clearly, the 3 is the horse to beat on paper as well as through all of these numbers. Now in this object, this is the last race lengths back, and you'll see that Medina Spirit, when you see a 0, it just means, they were on the lead. He had 0 lengths at the half, 0 lengths at the 3/4, and then finished nearly a length in front. If you look at the running line, it was probably more like a half a length or head. There were 4 horses within a length at the finish in the Derby. You'll see that Ram, like I said, in his allowance race, ran down the leader and ran right by. So at the half, he was 2 lengths back. At the 3/4, he gained 3 lengths. So you see the -1, he gained 3 lengths and then won by basically 4 lengths. Looking at this, I'm looking at who's moving forward and who's coming backwards from their last race. Now in T and B, when we look at this, we're going to see the 3 and the 10 up top. And what this object is trying to do is say, okay, are the tier 1 horses, the 3 and the 10, really that good? And if they are up there, like we're seeing here, then yes, they are probably that good. Now in this screenshot is the actual pace of the race. So what I did is in the software is I went into the winning profiles, all graded stakes, all for 3-year-olds and up. And if you look at the winning profiles here at the first call, 70% of the winners are on the lead at the first call. And then second call, 22%. You'll see it increases during the stretch drive to 64%, and at the finish, 44%. But you see the majority of the winners based on these winning profiles are on the lead at the first call. And then the last screenshot out of winning profiles here is post position. And what's interesting here is you'll see that I have circled the number 3. You'll see that out of 50 starts, the horse has won 5 times, so a 10% winning percentage. But here's the thing that really caught my eye is the $340 net are on that post position, as well as the 10. You'll see that there have been 2 winners out of 11 starts for an 18% win percentage, but the dollar net is $3.55. Now, clearly, the 3 and the 10 are going to be the first and second choice on the betting line. Medina Spirit, morning line of 9 to 5. Concert Tour, morning line of 5 to 2. So now what? We've handicapped the race. We've crossed horses out. I have my contenders. What's the reality of the Preakness? Let's be honest. Medina Spirit, Concert Tour, 2 of the fastest horses, both Bob Baffert. There's a huge probability we could see a Bob Baffert exacta with Concert Tour over Medina Spirit or Medina Spirit over Concert Tour. The downfall of that probably going to be the lowest price exacta on the board. So if you're looking for value, that is not where to go. The second thing is the pace pressure actually going to develop? I see this potentially being a fast race, but I don't see the type of pace pressure where there's going to be a major battle and the speed is just going to stop. That's going to open the door for the closers to close that gap. I just don't see it happening here. Another question is there a low price horse I can throw out? No, you cannot throw out Medina Spirit. You cannot throw out Concert Tour. And number 4, track conditions. I suspect it's going to be a nice weekend. Track's going to be fast. It's going to be souped up. If they do get any rain or anything like that, they'll seal it. That's just the nature of the game. So from my perspective, this is probably a good race to watch and not so much a good value betting race. So good luck everyone this weekend. If you bet, I hope you win, have fun, and enjoy the races. I'll see you next video.